Oh boy. I work in Chicago as well. I come up here. Chicago's my favorite city in the world, despite traveling everywhere. But I live in Chicago and I work there. It's various eccentric comedy theaters. It's a wonderful gig. It's a wonderful life. And coming up here on the weekends is, of course, incredibly fun. But I get an enormous amount of questions about people being like, what's it like to split your life? What's it like to split everything up? How is it like performing comedy in Chicago, like a pinnacle of comedy, and then coming to a Renaissance Fair on the weekend and working here? And really, realistically, there is not too much of a difference. The biggest difference between performing at Second City and performing here is you guys. The audience interaction at festivals is the coolest part of this whole show. The whole concept of you guys being here and just in the dark, you know, in the light, just hanging out with me. I'm unmiked, I'm just sort of talking to you. You go to Second City, you pay $70, you go in, you're seeing specifically one comedy act, you sit in the audience, you're there, they're on stage, lights are blaring. None of you paid money to come here to see me. You paid money to come see a joust, or to like eat a turkey leg, or to like hang out with your friends, and you just incidentally have wandered into my show. And that brings some wonderful things like interesting human connections, you can stumble onto wonderful stuff. But the other thing it brings is this bizarro world where we're all making eye contact with each other. And I can see directly at you the whole time, and I can tell the moment you are losing interest in my lousy show. And that's fine, because when I was younger, I used to get sort of really wrapped up in the idea of people really liking every single thing I did. But as I grew older and more bitter and better at my job, I've developed a technique to make sure I enjoy the show and that you enjoy the show as much as humanly possible. And that technique is called not caring at all what any of you think. So, yes, thank you. I will do my show, I will like my show. If at any moment you find yourself not really enjoying my show, good news. You're in like ADHD paradise. Just stand up, wander 30 feet, you can see a falcon show, you can see a petting zoo, you can see a joust. There's so many cool things here, just go do that. I only request, if you do leave my show early, please do not make long, prolonged, disappointed eye contact with me, because that hurts my feelings. That being said, do you guys want to hear a song I was aggressively booed for once?
Yeah.
This is like a thing that only happened, I thought it only happened in cartoons, and then it happened to me. I was performing this next song you will hear at this beautiful stage, the Trader's Cove, for an audience of 6 or 7 people. And one of them, a woman in the 6th row, had it about halfway through the tune, and she went, boo! And I, in case you hadn't guessed this already, am not a confrontational person. I am, at best, an emotionally available beta male. And rather than escalate the conflict, I turned away from her and just started performing to this side of the audience. So she, a reasonable person, stood up, wandered into my line of view and started waving her arms, thusly, and as soon as I made eye contact with her, she pointed at me and said, You suck! Boo! One of the craziest things I've ever experienced. She apparently left a comment card that I never got to read. But I tell that story just because I think it's so funny. Like, I'm not hurt, it's fine, whatever. In fact, I used to ask my audiences to boo me after this song to try to, like, take it back, because it was incredibly demoralizing. But then people thought it was funny that I was the guy that asked to be booed, and so I'd be just walking around the street with, say, my family, and a bunch of people would go, there he is, boo! And I'd have to explain to them that, no, they're doing a bit, and my parents would be like, please get a better job. Alright, so this is the song. It is a genre of music that I invented. Not too often you get to invent a genre of music, but I did it. This genre of music is called Pantheon Rock. And Pantheon Rock is an awful lot like Christian rock. Except it contains many more gods. And murder. So please, feel free to sway back and forth, wave your arms, your lighters, your cell phones, whatever you want. Just feel the spirit as it moves through you. You light up the dark of the night in the midst of a storm. It's religious rock, you sing it very dramatically. Then you order the sun across the sky to ensure that all of your people are warm. And you sent us a sun just to punch out a hydra. I mean, you didn't so much send him, but he came anyway. I love the way you treat mortals with sort of this passive indifference, and that's why I'll praise you for the rest of my days. And I thank you, Zeus, for not murdering my family. I wanna thank you, Zeus, for never sleeping with my wife. And I know you could do it, and I'd let you go through with it, because you're one of 370 true gods in my life. Yeah, pretty spiritual, right? Zeus a beautiful, Hera's a powerful woman. She's an excellent wife. She's also your sister, and I've got a sister, so I could maybe see how that would lead to a bit of like a marital strife. And when she's not nice, you just grab Dionysus and fly down to Athens for all the booze you can buy. You drink till you're full, transform into a bull, and try to ravage some virgin Zeus. You're my kind of guy, and I thank you, Zeus, for not murdering my family, and I'll thank you, Zeus, for never sleeping with my wife, and I know you could do it, and I let you go through with it because you're one of 370. And you heard my plea. I said I couldn't make a family, and so you sent me a son, and he's just turning 1, Zeus. I'm glad that this happened to me. Zeus, great news! It's my little boy's birthday. He turned 1 today. He filled up his lungs, and he blew out his candle, and his cake flew all the way into the Thesean Bay, and he's already walking. He's already talking, and then he picked up my neighbor, threw him in to the sun. Now, I'm a pretty strong guy, Zeus. I mean, I'm not trying to imply, Zeus, but I was just a little bit curious, and I was wondering if maybe you had, transgressed ever so slightly on some of the more specific wishes that I thought I outlined, at least relatively clearly in the chorus of the song. Okay, I wanna thank you, Zeus, for not murdering my family, but I'll thank you, Zeus, you know, for sleeping with my wife, and I knew you could do it. I'm super thrilled you went through with it because you're one of 370 true gods. All right, I'm changing keys, and you jerks get to sing now. I wanna thank you, Zeus. He did not murder your family. I wanna thank you, Zeus. Slept with your wife once, but it's fine, I guess, and I knew you could do it. I'm super thrilled you went through with it because you're one of 370 true gods. I guess 644 if you count all those other Roman counterparts. Yes, you're one of 370 true gods in my spiritual riffing. Our God is an awesome, sorry, joke there, alive.